These commands are also used to move within the current line. The difference is you have to provide a particular character based on which you want to move forward or backward. So for example, if you use F followed by opening parenthesis, it will move forward from that cursor to the next occurrence of that character you provided. So if the cursor is here and I press F opening parenthesis, it moves to the next occurrence of that character within the same line only. So if I try to use F double quotes, the cursor will not move because there is no double quote character after this point in this particular line. You can use a count prefix. So if the cursor is here and I use 3 F double quotes, so from this point it moves to the third occurrence of the character provided. So from this point, first, second, third. So this is move forward based on the character provided. P is very similar to F. The difference is it will move to the character just before the character you searched for. So if the cursor is here and I use P semicolon, so from this point it searches for the semicolon character and moves the cursor just before that. So I'll show again P semicolon. You can see the cursor moved just before that particular character. Again, count prefix you can use, and this is particularly useful. I'll show you why. So let's say the cursor is here and I use PO. So this is the character searched and cursor moves just before that character. Now if you try to use PO again, the cursor will not move because it satisfies that condition already. From this point, search for character O and move the cursor just before that. But when you use a count prefix, Vim automatically takes care for you. So let's say the cursor is here and I use 2PO. So it searches for second occurrence of O. From that point, 1, 2. Second occurrence of O and then moves the cursor just before that. Capital F and capital T, they behave similar to F and T in lowercase, but in the backward direction. So F and T lowercase moves forward, capital F, capital T moves in the backward direction. So let's say cursor is here and I press capital F and double quotes. So it moved in the backward direction and cursor moves to the character you searched for. But if you use capital T and double quotes, it will move to the character after that character which was searched. So uppercase version are like opposite of the lowercase version. And you have two more handy commands. Semicolon will repeat whatever the previous F or uppercase F or T or uppercase T was used in the same direction. So let me show examples. So I use F, lowercase f and double quotes. And now if I use semicolon, it will repeat whatever search I had performed in the same direction. So it moves forward in the same direction. Let me show an example with uppercase F. So uppercase F and double quotes. It moved to the double quotes just before that. That is in the backward direction from where you used. So uppercase F and double quotes. Now if I use semicolon, it moves in the same direction. So it was originally in the backward direction. So pressing semicolon moves in that same direction. If you use comma, then it will repeat the previous search in the opposite direction. So let's say I use F and quotes. It is in the forward direction. Now if I use comma, it should move to the previous occurrence. So you can see the direction is reversed. You will see this more in the T version. So let's say I use TO. So it moves to the character before O. Now if I use comma, it should perform capital T and O. So capital T and O means, so search in the backward direction and move to the character just after that. So it should move to this particular character. So I'm going to press comma. So you can see lowercase t and O changes to uppercase T and O when you use comma. A few notes: if you use a count prefix and then if you try to use semicolon or comma, that particular original count prefix will not be repeated. So for example, let's say, okay, so let's say 3TO. So 3TO. Okay. But if I use semicolon, it will move only once. So you can see that it moved only once. Originally I used 3 times, but it moved only once. But if you want, you can use a new count prefix. So if I use 2 semicolon, you can see it has moved to the second occurrence. Another note is you might have used the wrong motion command. So instead of T, let's say you pressed F. Instead of continuing with that wrongly chosen command, you can just use escape to abandon the search and then use the original command you wanted. For more details, use the manual left right motions.